Welcome back. Liberl is in the middle of a massive crisis from their point of view. Like, how their entire world works has just completely disappeared. It would be the equivalent of electricity disappearing for us. Quite bad. Quite bad. So, we need to carry on doing the rounds now of the entirety of Liberl. It's going to take a while, is the best way of putting it. The engine not functioning gives us more problems than simply getting airborne. Hells, you have to operate the ramp via hand crank. I do wish our passengers understood the theory behind orbital engines a wee bit more. A wee bit. Regardless if this had to happen, my editor's grace had it happen on land. If this had happened in the air, we'd all be at her side at this point. Yeah, small blessings, small blessings. I'm going over the Cecilia's engines just in case. If she'd been knocked out by the same thing that's got into the rest of the orbits, I'd like to know what the internals look like. I'm gonna take a good close look inside and figure out what happened when it stopped. Just in case, when it stopped. Okay. Yeah, there's quite a few upset people here, as you can imagine. Our ship was stopped in dock before it could even take its first morning flight. There's some kind of severe problem, so we can't take off. Not that the passengers were injured, thank Arios. This has happened after we took off. It really would have been a crisis. It stopped in the dock before it could even take its first morning flight. We still have no idea when we'll be able to resume service. Man, there's a bunch of customers here who don't have any place to go now that they're stuck here. We're trying to pull together some lodging for them, but you can imagine how much of a mess this is right now. The company will provide lodging for everyone. Yes, everyone. We're currently in the process of arranging it, so please wait a little longer. How long are they going to keep us waiting here? I need to hurry to Rouen. Am I? Apparently it's some kind of engine fault with a cause they can't determine. I've used these ships for years, and this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. Apparently it's some kind of, yeah. Or it's the same thing causing the orbits in town to stop working. Scheduled flights are cancelled. Not a surprise, I suppose, with orbits the way they are. Still quite an issue, shipping will be impossible for the moment. I'll have to look for a buyer locally somehow. If the flights aren't running, then shipping is impossible. My only recourse now is to look for buyers locally. Scheduled flights aren't running. And all just as I get off work too. Oh dear. I don't think we'd be stopping here. My child is with me too. How am I going to get home? Oh dear. Hey, what's wrong with the ship? Why isn't it going? Oh dear. It really sums it up, doesn't it? Forklift. Your name is Forklift. The goods I ordered were supposed to arrive today. Who would have guessed flights would be cancelled? Oh, that's a fork stuck. That's a fork stuck in it. Have to find replacement stock from somewhere. Has he always been called Forklift, or I just not noticed he's called Forklift? I think it's because he's near a forklift. It's like, your name is Forklift. The goods I ordered were supposed to arrive today. I have to find replacement stock from somewhere. I think it's because he's near a forklift. It's not just the Cecilia, the guidance lights and ground equipment aren't working either. We've had our share of trouble before, but I've never seen anything like this. I wonder if this is all because of that strange event last night. I'm gonna go with yeah. You know, just putting it out there. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna guess it's like maybe it's something to do with the giant thing in the sky, maybe. Maybe. Did I report? Nothing to report, okay. You finished any jobs? La. I'll leave distributing Russell's generators to you. Remember, one of each in Roland, Rouen, and Zeiss branches. Careful, you lot. Be careful, you're here. It's gonna be the standard stuff from these guys. Okay. And dittos. Do they have like an orbital cooker? Like, how does this work in here? Mayor Maybelle has been running herself ragged, trying to address every little thing with the town. Yet she still somehow manages to keep popping her head back in here between meetings to make sure things are running smoothly. Tell her time and time again not to worry about the restaurant, but she won't hear a word of it, of course. She's so much like her father in that respect, always pushing herself too hard for her own good. Hey, Maybelle has been running herself ragged trying to address every little thing with the town. If she saw someone just keep right back here, running smoothly. All the commotion was terrifying. If not for Mayor Maybelle, we would have had riots on our hands. It's times like these when people need to be at their best and work together, not behave like that. I hope to never see such shameful behavior ever again. All the commotion was terrifying. Maybelle would have had riots on our hands. We were in the restaurant when the riots erupted in the city. That contradicts what she just said. A lot of people were gathered in front of the guild, and they spent all night yelling at each other. The restaurant was pitch black too, so I couldn't tell what was going on at all. I can't believe how scared I was. It's not a riot. In the restaurant when the riots erupted and said, riots? What? You're exaggerating. It's that sort of thing. Like, based on what I've heard, it's just like people being slightly disturbed out in the streets going like, oh, what's going on here? Does anyone know what's happening? Like, you're like, oh, there's riots, there's people talking. Like, what? Ovid. Oh, hey guys. Thanks again for all your help. With all distribution systems frozen, I'm sure it's difficult to get food. It's times like these when the Ovid company sparkles more mightily than the shiniest pomp. I'll be glad to provide you with rare tastes obtained through proprietary routes. Now, come look at what I've got to offer. Oh. Okay. It's kind of cool. Come again. Seems like the world's in a rough spot, but my business is going quite well. While the major suppliers are having trouble distributing, I'll be taking the opportunity to expand my markets. I mean, yeah, if you can make a business out of this, go for it, why not? Like, yeah, go for it, go. Working without all the cooking tools is no big deal. You're not a real chef if you need some fancy equipment to whip up a decent meal. I was in the wine cellar when the Orbans all stopped. How do you get into the wine cellar? But thanks to that, I ended up having to find my way out by hand in total darkness. I was covered head to toe in dust by the time I got out. What awful timing. Damn it. That's all we need from that. The orbital stove's not working. The head chef's waving it off like it's no big deal, but to me it's a huge deal. To learn how to cook the old-fashioned stove and fast. I don't even know if I could boil an egg well on a fire stove. It's that thing, you become accustomed. I thought it was just my orbits that were broke. I looked around the city, however, and it was plain to see the problem extended far beyond myself. Whatever shall we do? Problem is more than a few broken orbits here and there. I'm curious indeed. Indeed, Horace, indeed. I imagine there's quite a few people in the church, to be honest. I'm looking for a good part-time position, but seems like this really isn't the time for it. No one's hiring part-timers at a time like this. Last night was scary. People were yelling at each other late into the night. This is where we need to come together too. Now, I would have expected much more people in here due to this. I've come for the first time in a while to offer prayers to the goddess. Somehow my feet just didn't lead me to the market. I can't find it in me to enjoy shopping at a time like this. It quite my heart for a bit. To think simply having Orbans fail could cause such chaos, so much chaos. As we who possess faith in the goddess, we should be ashamed. To rely on something like Orbans so heavily is a sign of great weakness. Faith in the goddess should be more than enough. I hope that people take this as the epiphany of sorts, and come to their senses. Bit much? No, indeed, it was quite the terrible time last night. The troubled citizens burst into the guildum, the mayor's house alike, and spent the entire night making quite the fuss. Mayor Maybelle's powers of persuasion thankfully averted further turmoil, but I come to realize anew the immense effect orbits have on our lives. Yes, it's the kind of thing during a chaos, you need someone level-headed, like make sure like everything's sorted out. It's like, I think we're seeing that kind of around the globe at the moment, aren't we? With the coronavirus going on, it's like, yeah, you kind of need like people to be like, all right, calm, collected. This is what we need to do. This is what's going on. It's like, yeah, people are gonna panic. Indeed, it was quite the terrible time last night. I've come to appreciate new immense orbits in our lives. Okay. So that generally happens here, where it's like, I want to go in that room, and it's like, whoop. Like, you get near it, and it does the animation. It's like, no, I haven't finished. From here, you can see that island floating in the sky. But it appeared the lights all across the city went out, just as we were recovering from the dragon's assault, too. What will happen to our Bose, I wonder? I like that the doors are open. Makes sense when you think about it, they would have pried them open. Here you can clearly see the island floating in the sky. I would have never guessed we would be threatened by something like this. What will happen to our Bose, I wonder? I mean, what is that? And why have all the orbits stopped working? What's going on? I don't understand. This is kind of crazy. What should I do? That huge thing in the sky is so scary. Was the dragon just the start of things? It's more the end of the things, but alright. The end of all things. Yes. Well, making our way around the outside, so Mayor's residence. See what's going on here. Oh, brace of friends. At the moment, we in Bose are facing a terrible danger. Please give any aid you can to Mayor Maybelle in our city. Well, of course. Yes, Sarah. That riot last night was terrifying. So many people storming into the mansion. They all looked and sounded so furious, as though they were going to tear the place down. But Mayor Maybelle is truly amazing, calming a mob as she did. Still wouldn't call that a riot. Like, that riot last night was terrifying. Like, it's a stretch to call that a riot. Nope, must be upstairs. I mean, I went straight past Lila. Thank you for the other day. Miss Maybelle is currently as busy as humanly possible. Please, if you can aid her in some way, I would ask you to do so. Alright. Hello again, Estelle. And, oh! Hello, Joshua. Hi, Mayor Maybelle. It's been a while. It has indeed. You two look busy again. No kidding. I heard it's been really hard on you too, though. Rugen was telling us about it. I was a little worried when I heard some citizens broke in. Yes, I had to spend the better part of the evening talking them down. And even then, I only barely got them to return home. Didn't really do anything to actually assuage their fears, though. I couldn't. Even I am half scared out of my wits. If this keeps up, I'm afraid there will be another uprising. A much more violent one. It could happen, yes. As long as the real problem remains unsolved, unresolved even, people will be on edge and looking for someone to blame. Right now, though, we just need to do what we can. Staring at the floor and fretting won't solve anything. Got that right. No matter what comes, we'll do our duty as braces. We're pretty much the same way about being a mayor. No matter how dark and hopeless the situation may seem, a mayor must remain with her city and protect it. Of course, I believe it'll resolve things in the end, mine. Well, no pressure there. We'll take those words as words of encouragement. Right now, all each of us can do is our best. I believe that by combining all our efforts, we can overcome this crisis. For my part, I intend to have a long talk with all the major merchants. Their support in making sure prices remain stable during all this will be crucial. Yes, think about the economy as well. Very important. Yes. Good. And make sure, like, people have jobs to go back to and stuff like that. Again, it's that sort of feeling of, like, we're kinda, globally, most places in a similar situation right now because of the lockdowns and everything happening and the easing of lockdowns here and there throughout. It's just like, we're in a similar sort of state where it's like worry and panic, etc. my orbital camera stopped working. And here I took lots of cool shots at the Hawking Gate too. And this sucks. I can get them printed soon. I really want to see them. You know, if there's I like trying to find some good in what's happening in the world as much as we can. Yeah, you know. I'd say, like, from my aspect, it's giving me an appreciation of this type of situation where, like things are in a panic, things are in a worry, and all that type of stuff. It's like looking out for your fellow man sort of deal, that kind of. Like I said, like in the UK, there's sort of like this wartime spirit of like we're all in this together. We've got to work through this together. We shall prevail, kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's nice to see, nice to understand like different points of views, and it relates in a way to what's going on here, and I can feel what's going on here more as a result of that. Some good, I suppose, out of it. My orbital camera stopped working. I can't get my shots printed out, but that sucks. I came to Bose to see the Hawking Gate, but I didn't expect this to happen at my destination. Just thinking about the Hawking Gate, I really should go there. Like thinking about my worry about Erebonia. Like, yeah. Anyway, I hope things get back to normal soon. I hope the scheduled flight starts again soon. We should do downstairs completely first. Welcome to the Frieden Hotel. Mobile devices may not be functioning, but our hotel is still open for business. I'm sure there will be some inconveniences, but please enjoy your time here. Please do not hesitate to patronize us. Alright then. Bum 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 bum. I think right now I like this aspect where it's like things aren't working the way they should. Like even the stuff we're dealing with, like our orbments and all that type of stuff. It's like it's that sort of thing of like through the gameplay you can feel the impact this has had on the world, and I like that. It's that sort of like, it's an inconvenience, it's a bother, and I like it because it feeds into the story. Oh, but no matter how much time I spend, this is going nowhere. I can't clean without a vacuum cleaner. Like trying to make an omelette without a frying pan. Manager's all on my case about it. Do it yourself, jeez. Okay, so I'm gonna check on the merchants now. Oh no, we still got the bar, haven't we? Our owner's acting like the riots something other people did, but he's one of the people who barged into the mayoral residence too. He's sort of excluding himself from that little mess and trying to put on airs, but again, it's like I'd use the word mob, stuff like that, but riot, it's like, I don't know. It's one of the people who barged into the mayoral residence too. What he says and actually does are total opposites. Certainly, it's hard on us not being able to use orbments. That doesn't make it okay to riot. At best, as a fellow Bose citizen. Again, it's like, it's not... Like, you wanted answers, you were all panicked. It's sort of like, I don't know. But I can understand wanting to riot, that doesn't make it okay to actually do it. Really, how shameful. Again, it's like, it's like, what was riot? Where was the riot aspect? Based on what you guys are saying, I don't see it. Oh, hey there. You're braces, aren't you? I've seen you on the Cecilia a few times. Sorry for our ship being out of commission. Doesn't look like we can leave port, so I'm just getting some grub. Now, what should I eat? The dish of the day is expensive, so I screw with that one. Nope. There's not even something you could eat on your own. Oh, very well. Right, into the stores. Again, I like that the doors are like pried open because it's like, yeah, they would have been automated, but now you can't. Just can't. No one really knows why the doors of the fountain have suddenly stopped working, it sounds like. What the heck is going on in the city? Seems like the orbits have stopped working all over town. The register at our stores stopped working too. That's orbital powered as well? Jeez. Dad's off at the factory getting it repaired. I wonder what's going on. If Orban's not working, we won't be able to defend the kingdom. Can't help but feel anxious. Hopefully the Empire keeps the non-aggression pact, but Again, I'm glad some people are thinking about it. That's all I wanted. Like when I point these things out, like, this is what I want, like, them to also be thinking it as well. I don't necessarily even need to see any action, don't need to see anything happen. Just I want them to be, a few people here and there, and there are, just concerned about what they'd be up to. If it's not working, we won't be able to defend the kingdom. Yes. The market's really lost all its energy. Guess everyone is really worried about the future. I really wish I could help people at times like these, especially, but it's the sort of thing that I'm liking from the NPCs. And while I do feel, actually, this idea of us going around Liberl right now, speaking to everyone, makes sense, because you get these different points of views of what's going on, what the crisis means to this kingdom. Because, like, he's worried about the potential of what the Empire could be doing, like I am. We got other people with, like, more down-to-earth concerns about their shop, about their lives, and all that type of stuff. It's like, it's interesting to have all these different points of views. Yes. If the market gets all dark, it really is all over. I really wish I could help people at times like this, especially, but like there, it's like you want to help other people, but you need to look after yourself. All distribution throughout the kingdom's gone kaput, it seems. I have enough stock for the moment, but if I can't restock, then sooner or later shortages will come. This is quite grave. Indeed, indeed. With scheduled flights and transport stopped, things are really serious. I better go shopping and stock up while the stores still have stock. Again, it's like we've seen a similar thing with the coronavirus happening with us in the real world. Just that sort of like people just stocking up because it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get some new food. I don't know when that chance will happen. It's like I'll buy 15 billion rolls of toilet paper for some reason. You know, again, like most of us know what's going on. With the orbit stopped, lights and heating are unusable. This is the thing, it's that it's going to be future looking, like into the future, like with this video and probably other videos around. Looking back at these videos, when all the crisis and everything has disappeared from our world, we'll have this little record of what this time was like. It's like, that's interesting. Anyway, with the orbit stopped, lights and heating are all unusable. Once I'm done shopping for foodstuff, I need to go look for sundries. Sundries. What should I do? No goods are coming in. Honestly, I probably ought to be considering raising prices here, but before we took advantage of the situation to raise prices and end up causing a lot of trouble for everyone. I already raise my prices so easily these days. I need to talk to Buck and figure out a good plan. Unbelievable. It's not just the scheduled liners, but the freight trucks and ships have stopped. All distribution's totally paralyzed. Oh, so there are ships. Okay. At this rate, we're going to hit shortages real fast. My product's life is in its freshness. This is a serious problem. Hell, distribution's totally frozen. It's a matter of life and death. It really is. And that's the thing, it will be for some people, won't it? Even the fountain's tired. What happened? Tired? I like that interpretation. Thanks to the trouble recently, my stock has not come in. My store's opening has to be heavily delayed as a result. Of course, this isn't the time for excuses like those. Seems like even the market can't keep up its normal energy today. Everyone's filled with concern and fear. I'm sure no different. Comments are all stopped. And talk about one to send you into the dumps. Okay. All the lights in my house are out and my daughter's crying her eyes out. After all, orbments are an expected part of life for her. It was a shock when I realized we couldn't use them. My daughter's generation, orbments are an expected part of life. Shock might have been a lot bigger for them than for us adults. Again, it's like, imagine electricity just disappearing. Just imagine, like, no light, no cooking, no heat, no coolth, because that's how you say cold. Yep, no coolth. Something like no videos, no entertainment, no TV, no music. Like, it's just, oh God. Making castella cake takes fresh eggs and milk. Can't skim if you want the best. I can continue to be unable to get stock in. I won't be able to keep this stand running. What am I supposed to do now? That lady who runs the confectionery shop doesn't seem to have her normal energy. Well, given the situation we're in, I think that's true of everyone, but still, what's that damn fiancé of hers doing? The job of the spouse to support the other at a time like this, ain't it? Just maybe I should go lecture him while I do my shopping. Yeah, that'll help the situation. The confectionery lady is so down and depressed. Why isn't the fiancé of hers doing anything? I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. I don't care if distribution's stopped or whatnot. I'll be opening this shop just like always. At times like these, you gotta give people some courage. It's come down to this, then maybe I should sell that new issue I've been keeping safe. Oh? At times like this, you gotta give people some courage. At this, maybe we should sell that issue. Issue? You've already got that, so... Hey, welcome. Minuets, well, but the whole market's a bit down in the dumps. After all, just as everyone was recovered, now distribution's totally frozen. It's not surprising they get depressed. I'm energetic as always. The old lady's merchant spirit is the toughest in Bose, eh? Indeed it is. Right, so get out of the way, stairs. Alright, I think we've done this general area, haven't we? So I'm going to end this part here. And in the next part, we shall carry on down in this section, in the south block. See if these two are who I think they are. They could be. They could also not be. You know, reused NPCs, etc. like I've said before. We'll run around, speak to a few people here, then we'll head down to the lake, and then we'll see stuff about, like, Harkengate, which should be interesting, considering my thoughts on things. So anyway, we'll see you in the next part. Ta-ta! For now.